So I bought this heap of junk. This is used to be an old light tower, but the light's missing, so the previous owner was using it as a generator. Popped up in Marketplace for cheap, and the guy told me that all he needed was a starter. So I met the guy and put a jump pack on the starter. Starter spun over, and I grabbed the engine, and it would not budge. I mean, it was locked up solid.
We're locked up.
So I was like, you know, I can't give you what we had originally talked about, so we reworked the deal. And so I got this thing. So I brought it home. I stuck a bar on the engine, and it's solid. Pulled the starter out, and I actually rotated the engine the other way, which I guess I should have done initially, and it turns. So, or it did. Yep, there we go. Not locked up. Doesn't seem to have a ton of compression. This is a Lister Petter, probably saying that wrong. Air-cooled diesel engine, so kind of cool. I'd love to see this thing running again. So let's try to get it running. I rotate it just about 360 degrees and it hits both sides. So I'm wondering if it dropped a valve. But let's tear into this thing and find out. All right, guys, so quick update on this Ford. I did get Vermont to call me back and confirm that they would send out a paperwork for this truck and plates. So that's a registration and plates. They do not issue titles on vehicles over 15 years old. However, I had thrown it up on Marketplace just to see if anybody was interested in buying it, and I got a guy that says he wants to come out and look at it here in a little bit. So at this point, if it sells, I think I'll just let it go down the road. I mean, it's a cool truck, and I would have plans for it, but I guess if somebody wants to buy it, I need another project like I need another hole in my head. I just wanted to do a quick update here and go over the Vermont thing. Seems like a definite option if you have vehicles that don't have any titles to them. Vermont says that you do not have to be a resident to register vehicles there, and if it is older than 15 years, they will issue you a registration and plates. The two things that it cannot be is it cannot be stolen, obviously, and it cannot have a salvage title, both of which you should be able to find out by having your local sheriff or state trooper give you a VIN verification, which is also required to register through Vermont. So it has individual valve covers. I think I'm going to pull these off. I'll probably have to pull this exhaust off first so we can take a look at the valves, and we'll start there. Oh, my GoPro mount just broke. It's annoying. I think both the bolts are broken off in these top two holes. It looks like somebody had tried to take it off and just snapped them off, so I'm going to try drilling them out. That was like that. And with one blow of my small hammer, it wasn't like that anymore. So at first glance, everything looks to be here and the way it's supposed to be. I don't really know what a dropped valve looks like. So I'm just gonna rotate this motor and make sure, or try to make sure, that all of these are moving, I guess, actuating. I stuck a bar under all of those valves both ways when the engine was rolled over and locked out, and they all go up and down, so I don't believe that it is hitting a valve. We'll just keep looking through here and trying to figure out what this engine is binding on, I guess. So I have a suspicion that it may be a connecting rod that's broken. We can find that out by taking this cover off here. Looks like it's a bunch of 10mm bolts, but we have to take the oil out, obviously, and then the filter. So we'll pop them off and see what's inside of there. There's a first look, and I don't know if you can see in the bottom, but I already see carnage. Well, there's part of the problem. I think those are supposed to be around the crankshaft. There is the bottom of a connecting rod. There's a connecting rod. Take another quick look at this in the daylight. Those are the bottom end bearings. There's the bottom of the connecting rod. So what does that mean for this thing? Well, there's good news and bad news. The good news is that parts for this thing are really expensive. The bad news is that parts for this thing are really expensive. What do I mean? To buy parts for this, if you can find them, it's pretty expensive. However, if I was to part that engine out, I could probably get a pretty good penny for taking apart, selling them on eBay, and going that route. I would much prefer to sell this thing kind of as is, sort of as a project. If I was going to keep it, what I would do with it is I would pull that motor and I would drop like a 3-cylinder Kubota diesel in there, something that you can find regularly and easy. Parts are easy to find. That engine is manufactured in England, and so there's a lot of used parts on them, but I don't know about new parts. That being said, I'm going to throw this thing up on Facebook Marketplace as is and see what happens. I mean, a working generator like this would bring a couple $1,000s. You can pick up an engine for $1,000 to $2,000. You get the idea. If it doesn't sell within a couple of weeks, I am going to pull that engine and I will part it out and I will sell parts on eBay. If any of you guys are interested in this thing, I'm going to drop my email in the description below. If my email's down there, this thing is still available. Once this thing goes away, I will remove my email address. And you guys are interested in it, feel free to shoot me an email. Please be serious about buying this thing. I don't want to waste my time or anyone else's. You saw what the engine looks like. Pretty much a full rebuild or a replacement engine. That's kind of the end of this video. I wish it had gone differently, but you can't win them all, and the reality is sometimes this stuff doesn't work out, and I think it's worth showing that. So thanks for watching, everybody. Let's get on to the next project.